Jonathan Okoakih, that's my brother. Some of you have probably heard of him. When I had first started Applebee last year, a lot of people would come up to me asking if I was his brother, and I obviously would respond yes. Then several questions followed, questions like, why was I taller than him, or we looked the same, or we looked nothing alike. The main question I received was whether I was funny like him or not. Even though people have told me that I am funny, people made the assumption that I was like my brother, and people who didn't know me at all came up to me and stated that I must be funny like my brother. In that moment, a widely held but fixed and oversimplified idea of the Okoakis was created. In a more simplistic term, a stereotype had been created. A stereotype can be applied against a specific kind of person or type of thing. Although I'm not here to discuss the stereotypes of the Okoakis, I'm here to discuss the stereotypes of a much larger group of people and how these stereotypes have affected me personally. During second term last year, I decided to do swimming. I had 3 options to pick from. My options were squash, basketball, or swimming. Even though I'm on the squash team now, last year I only knew a little bit about it. To be honest, when we tried it in gym class, I wasn't very good. Basketball was the sport people were expecting me to play. I wasn't much good at that either. I mean, people would comment on how high I could jump and how fast I could run. However, I could not shoot very well. My only realistic choice was swimming. I wasn't the best swimmer either. Although I drastically improved throughout the season, when I had first started, I could swim the length of the Applebee pool. However, most of our drills required us to go 2 lengths. As pathetic as it sounds, I couldn't go 2 lengths. I could go 1.5 though, but usually around that 1.5 marker. My front crawl would crumple and transform into the doggy paddle. Naturally, people were curious to know which sport I had selected for that term. The minute I told them I was in swimming, the conversation took a turn from being completely serious to a humorous conversation. Nobody took me seriously when it came to swimming. Although I wasn't the best, it still hurt to be completely patronized and taken as a joke by my peers. People would ask others on different sports teams how they did while they were out on games. While they asked those other people, their expressions would be completely serious. Their expressions would tell me that they didn't take me seriously. When they asked me, they knew that the response they would get would be depicting how horrible the swim meet went, how I almost drowned, or any other negative scenario. Like I said, I was a terrible swimmer, but most of the people who talked to me about it had never seen me swim. They assumed I was a terrible swimmer based on the color of my skin. They began making jokes about how black people can't swim in front of me and would include me in those jokes as well. Although I knew they were jokes and that it shouldn't offend me, over time, these comments began to have an impact on me and the amount of effort I put into swimming. Whenever I had lost a race, I would mentally come up with the excuse that I was black, so I couldn't swim. That's why I lost. I didn't blame it on laziness, I didn't blame it on stamina, I blamed it on the color of my skin. The comments made by other people began to take away the comments I tried my hardest, and it began to take away the confidence I had in swimming. Eventually, I ignored the stereotypes against me and began to try my hardest. When I did this, I began to improve on my diving and my swimming techniques as well. If I had focused on what I should be able to do, instead of what other people thought, I would have improved in swimming much sooner than I did. There were, and there still are, several instances in which I encountered stereotypes. The experience I just talked about was based on how a stereotype against my race prevented me from trying my hardest. The way other people thought I should be in regards to swimming began to affect my performance level in the sport. Stereotypes can often limit our perception of other people in a way that can make us underestimate them and their abilities. One way we can judge and limit people is based on their skin. 2 years ago, my brother and I really wanted Beats headphones. So when Boxing Day was coming up, he and I were really excited because this would mean that our father would be much more likely to buy us the headphones. We went to Best Buy and we were searching for the Beats headphones. We had gone to a point where we were certain we couldn't find it on our own and that we had to ask for help from someone who worked there. Once we asked the guy who helped us see whether the specific type of beats we wanted was there or not, he replied no. He then commented that they only had Beats Pro, and that since my brother and I were black, we could not afford those type of beats. He assumed that just because my brother and I were black, that we didn't have enough money to purchase those headphones. This stereotype places a minuscule net worth on all black people, making us all seem like we're poor or we can't afford the things of what many other races can. When I first moved from Nigeria to Canada, people would ask me whether I lived in a hut or a house. They also asked me if I saw lions eating prey in my backyard and if monkeys lived in my house. If all of the following stuff were true, how would I afford being able to move to Canada in the first place? Stereotypes don't help anyone. The man that said the rude comment could have gotten my brother and I to purchase those headphones, which would have helped the company he worked for. But instead, he decided to make a rude statement towards two customers. Stereotypical jokes may create a laugh once in a while. However, they often limit other people and other races, making us assume that one race may be capable of one thing and another may not be able to do anything, based purely on their race. All my life, people have been telling me basketball would be the ideal sport for me, and that if I really put my mind to it, I would be amazing. At a recent squash game, a coach on the opposing team commented that I should leave squash and go play basketball. At first, I was shocked at the statement, but also a bit flattered. I felt this way because I am not good at basketball. But to this man, my appearance said otherwise. Many times in the past, people haven't used stereotypes to try and guess which sport I play or which activities I participate in. These people don't naturally assume I play basketball. So instead of assuming I play basketball, they just ask which sports I enjoy. When they do this, it makes me feel much better because I wouldn't have to reply that I don't play basketball. Usually when I reply this, the conversation takes an awkward turn. There are several reasons I don't play basketball. Not only because I'm not good at it, but in general, I don't like team sports. I don't enjoy people depending on me to get the next point, and I hate being a burden for teammates when I fail. So ideally, individual sports such as track and field are what I enjoy. When I start running the 100-meter dash, I feel like I'm the only one there. The wind is howling as I run, and I tune out all the yelling voices or any other source of distraction. And all I can see is that finish line. There is no one in my way, and to me, there is no one to disappoint except myself. When I do high jump in track and field, there is nothing but noise, until I launch off the ground and I'm about to hit the mat. And in that moment, it feels like there's no one around me. Whereas on a basketball court, it's noisy, there are obstacles, and there is no finish line. My point being that even though it is a stereotype that all black people are good at basketball, it has never come naturally to me. So once again, it has caused other people to say rude comments and jokes towards me. Some of these comments are, "Kelvin, you're the whitest black guy I've ever met," or "You're not black at all, Kelvin." Well, I want all of you in this room to ask yourselves, what does it truly mean to be black? The words I just said to you all was regarding my personal experience with stereotypes. You have probably all faced them in the past. But what kind of stereotypes have you faced? Before you answer this, please turn your hymn books to page number 86.